So, in the past month or so, you've had former football player and manager Joey Barton been going on a lot of these tirades on social media to do with women working in the game, the men's football game. Um, with Barton, you just see a lot of these tweets you'll see come up. You'll see him trending a lot of the time on Twitter. It goes back to Joey Barton commenting about how it was the women's goalkeeper Mary Epps had become Sports Personality of the Year. But again, I personally think he had a point there. I think it was quite ridiculous that she was the Sports Personality of the Year. You had Ronnie O'Sullivan, who was he's the seven-time snooker champion, and he always seems to get snubbed. It seems to be a bit of a joke there. But with these rants, some of them, I won't lie, are very they're quite funny. It's hard to take your eyes off of it. I wouldn't say I'm the biggest Joey Barton fan in the world. Back probably 10, 12 years ago, I did follow him. I did find some of his rants and his posts interesting. I think back in the day, he used to antagonize a lot of people. He went for the Towie, the people that were in the only way is Essex. I remember him having a go at Gary Lineker. I think it was the boy Hamann that played for Liverpool. So not much has changed on how Barton kind of maybe operates and how he very much just tells it like it is. He doesn't really have a filter. He says what's on his mind. Some might say he's a bit of a dick. He's a bit of a bully, but he very much he just tells it like it is. He doesn't sugarcoat things at all. With this though, so he has stirred up a lot of controversy. There's this whole thing here about sports ministers called him Barton's comments with the female pundits dangerous, opening floodgates for abuse. The whole Fred and Rose West thing with football commentary, maybe that was a little bit strong saying that. But again, I'm a believer in his free speech. You're entitled to your opinion. He's not physically hurting somebody with his opinion. That's a bit of a strong comparison there. But again, I'm a big believer in free speech. I don't think that is necessarily hate speech, but again, we're all entitled to our opinions. One tweet of Barton's that I found very interesting was from the other day, and it was something that he was talking to. He was saying about how maybe some of these female pundits that he's been very critical of aren't exactly whiter than white. But it wasn't exactly fully clear what he was trying to say. But I do recall a tweet maybe a couple of weeks back or something about Barton saying that women in the men's game, women who are like physios or doctors, they've had sexual relations, had an affair with like a male footballer. And he was saying about how these women that got in the game, they've destroyed marriages, destroyed relationships, stuff like that. So this whole tweet, I found this tweet very interesting here from Joey Barton. Again, could this just be Joey Barton exaggerating, bullshitting? I don't know. But I'll read the whole tweet. So he says, "It's Sunday today. I was going to have a day of rest. Some people seem to forget. I've been in this industry over 20 years. The players all talk. They're like women in that regard. They tell each other everything. They brag about their conquests. I know all those virtue signaling. We've worked really hard for years to get to this position. Females are upset. Your knickers are in a twist. Unfortunately, I know where all your skeletons are buried. That's your fault. You compromised yourself messing with the talent. I don't want to have to exhume some bodies. I also don't blame you using your sexuality to get an advantage. It's a big tool and everyone should use these tools wisely in the game of life. We all know whose marriages you have violated, what info you got behind the pillow talk to get ahead, and who is in a desperate situation behind the scenes because of the Me Too movement and the fear it's put into certain organisations. Rightfully so as well, dirty pervs. We all know some of you have multiple players in the same team on your body counts. I don't judge you solely on that, but come on now, don't expect me to take you seriously, please. Don't take me for a fool. Lawyer up, sue me, get me cancelled, pressure my employers, my sponsors. Do what and as you please. I've got plenty to fight you back with. I've got deeper pockets than most. Just remember, people who throw stones shouldn't live in glass houses. I hope you're whiter than white if you come for me. That includes some of the black community currently libeling themselves on my timeline. Don't worry, I see you. I have the screenshots. Carry on your nonsense. I'll delightfully part you from your money. I don't want a war. I never have. That also doesn't mean I'll walk away if you start one. I never took a backward step in my life. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. May your gods shine favorably on you. And that's the tweet there. Hashtag namaste. He has a big thing about meditating, I think, Joey Barton as well. So this tweet, what I found very interesting, I mean, first off, the whole thing about players talking and going on about their conquest, does that totally surprise me that happens in the football locker room? No, it doesn't. What was interesting about that tweet was, it's the whole thing for me is, what is he really trying to tell us? Does he have dirt on some of these women in the game? Does he have dirt on some of these, like the football, the women, the pundits, the commentators, the presenters even? He's saying, about, using your sexuality to get an advantage. That does help. That helps. A lot of people who are pretty will use that to advantage. It happens all the time. But, the whole thing about you compromise yourself messing with the talent. We all know whose marriages you have violated. Well, we don't really all know in terms of, I say, we, the general public, but I guess in the football world bubble, they might know. We all know whose marriages you have violated. What info you got from the pillow talk. People who are in a desperate situation behind the scenes of the Me Too movement. And this is what I find very interesting, right? So the whole thing that Barton's, this whole thing about all the women coming into the game. So this whole thing about the Me Too movement, it started going back, the whole stuff with Weinstein was October 2017. And I didn't notice, I believe it wasn't until the World Cup, and that would have been in June 2018, when all of a sudden there's now female pundits commentating on the men's game. I believe the first one was Alex Scott. She was a pundit then, and then later on she's now a presenter. I think Anya Luko was another one. So they were the first two pundits. Now there's a good few now. I think you can lose count now all the different pundits. There's Karen Kearney, there's Izzy Christensen. There's a couple others. Again, I can't remember all. I don't remember all names, but it's just interesting him saying that about the Me Too movement, and then all of a sudden, about 8 months later, then you have women who are appearing as pundits. So I just wonder, is anything linked to that there? And really, I mean, what does Joey Barton know about these people? What dirt does he have on these people? Would there be anything? Could Joey Barton potentially spill the beans on particular people? I don't know. Again, he might want to watch himself, because it's one thing, him saying to Twitter trolls, "Hey, go ahead, try and whatever." But he's threatening. Well, he's threatening trolls with taking them to court, whatever. But it might be a different thing though if it was one of the big pundit presenters. If they were to go to court, that's a whole different kettle of fish there. But I mean, so what does Joey Barton know? I mean, there is these women, no doubt, attractive women in these positions, and I mean, so does he know? I mean, who is he talking about here? Is he speaking about, just to throw a name out there, is he speaking about Laura Woods? Is he speaking about Alex Scott? Who exactly is Joey Barton speaking about? Or is Joey Barton basically just speaking a lot of shit? And Barton's basically just maybe heard one story from his days when he was at QPR Burnley or something about a physio that, had a one-night stand with one of his teammates. I don't know. But this could be him maybe just exaggerating and bullshitting a little bit here. Or he might know a lot here and might have something on some of these women, And again, I don't know if Joey Barton really believes all the stuff he's saying, or if this is just all a bit of shtick. Joey Barton, a few months back, lost his job as a manager at Bristol Rovers. Is this Joey Barton now trying to get into the podcasting world? I believe he had started up a podcast. Is Joey Barton trying to carve himself out as like this type of influencer, or he's looking to get into this kind of like community, the truther community? Just noticing from the way Joey Barton tweets, it's very similar to like a lot of these people with the big counts, how they tweet. And I don't know if that's all by design purpose, or they just know that's what gets picked up by the algorithm, or someone's telling them to have that type of structure with their tweets. But I've noticed him now all of a sudden now with certain people with big accounts, a lot of followers. All of a sudden now he's replying to these tweets. Joey Barton apparently though turned down GBUs. But then, he's turning down GBUs, but then he's going on Buddy Morgan's show, Talk TV. So it's like, come on. So I don't know. I mean, Joey Barton's maybe just saying all these right things. Gradually, maybe he's wanting to appear more right wing and trying to be, I guess, subtle with it. So it's not just all of a sudden, an overnight change. But, I don't know, just because Barton seemed to be a bit more leaning towards kind of Marxism, more left wing. I remember years ago. Sure, your views can change, and I don't doubt Barton believes most of what he says, and he's in talking about all of different things about woke culture, the whole radical trans agenda. But I just feel maybe this is a little bit put on, though. He might be another person you might have to watch out for that could be just somebody who's controlled opposition. But I would be very curious to know, though, what was he trying to tell us with that tweet, though? Bringing up the whole thing, desperate situation behind the scenes because of the Me Too movement. What was going on? As a certain women that got in these positions, was it blackmail? I mean, what exactly was going on here? What does he know? But those are my thoughts on all that, guys. So yeah, feel free when you get a chance, check out Joey Barton on Twitter, or X now as they're calling it, because some of his tweets, as I say, it's quite entertaining. It's hard to keep your eyes off of it. It's one of the more interesting things on that Buddy X platform right now. But those are my thoughts on all that, guys. So thanks a lot. See ya.